I like the light that's coming in right now. It looks like a relatively sunny day. Hi! Ni hao! We're just Stephanie. It's been a minute, hasn't it? I need to put a bookend on this channel. Just for me, not for you. Some of you are still joining us, which I think is really sweet. But I started a podcast and a YouTube channel pretty much the same time. I switched backgrounds. The sun was blinding. I started a YouTube channel and a podcast about the same time. Actually, exactly the same time. And the podcasts have gone off. Not in a, when I say that, people go, oh, you're making a lot of money off of it. Or, oh, you have a lot of subscribers. And I say, you know what? There are other goals in this world, which is why I'm a bad business person. But anyway, point being, yeah, laziness ensues. Yeah, that's Shanghai. A apparently very bad rendition, very inaccurate one, but it's a really fun thing. Probably have to get rid of that. Hey, if anybody wants a map of Shanghai, come to Shanghai. I'm not mailing that. It's not happening. Offer rescinded. I'm completely distracted because I know that this is my closure video. I know that this is the last video I will probably put on here. No, I know this is the last video I will put on here. I'm not done with Mandarin Chinese. In fact, it's ironic that this thought to do this video today, that struck me today, because the entire month of November for NaPodPoMo, National, which it's actually not just national anymore, but National Podcast Posting Month, I'm doing exclusively Mandarin Chinese language related podcast episodes, mini episodes, about 10 minutes. Gia-Pat's podcast, I'll put a link down below, don't worry. But so it's ironic during the month of really studying and talking to people about Mandarin Chinese that I feel the need to close down this channel. But I need to be honest, I haven't really posted good content. I've posted, I'm working on it, I've posted, I'm floundering, I've posted crap for the past year. Since my HSK 3 test in December of 2018, I haven't really posted anything useful or even interesting. And forget useful, just interesting about the language. I haven't really posted that, and I'm not going to. I feel like the visual part of the language that drew me in is such a natural part of it at this point that I don't know if I could even identify the fun part of it for you anymore. Also, I'm leaving China at January 1st, 2020. First of all, okay, 2020. Did we think this year would come? Just wow. Yeah, so I'm leaving China. So I won't be able to do my walkabouts, even just talking about things with language learning, my process, all that kind of stuff. And the place I'm going to has a lot more privacy restrictions, so I probably won't be able to do a lot of walkabout videos, period. I'll talk more about, I talk about it a little bit in the podcast itself, but right now we're going to be in Berlin, Germany for 3 months, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know if that's a permanent move. I have no idea. There's a lot that's up in the air, and it's exciting. After 3 years in Shanghai, it's exciting and it's terrifying and yay. So in order to open up the possibility of new things coming into my life, I need to close down this YouTube channel. By close down, don't worry, I don't mean I'm going to take the videos away. So if you haven't seen them all, oh wow, you have plenty of time. I have no intention of taking them away. I think that, and not that I think, I don't know if they're useful. I don't know if they're motivating. I don't know how they've affected people so much as I know how they've affected me. The ability to talk about language learning and the ability to show you the fun parts and to question things as I go, the ability to put those questions out there instead of just stop studying because I can't figure them out, has been really, really useful. Will I turn that into some sort of coaching system in the future? Maybe. I don't know. Will I repurpose them and put them on the podcast? Yeah, maybe, especially this month when I have 30 posts to do, 30 10-minute podcasts. Yeah, this is something I'm inflicting on myself, but I wanted to experiment with the podcast. And that's the thing. I keep learning and growing and wanting to do different things with the podcast, the Gia-Pat's podcast, but I don't have that desire to do that with video. I love capturing the look of Mandarin Chinese, the hunted characters. I love capturing that, and I'll still be putting that in my Instagram and my Twitter and anywhere else I am that has a visual. But honestly, I have zero desire to improve my video editing skills. I stopped video editing a few months into doing this channel. I don't like video editing. The getting the sound and the picture doing the same thing and being consistent the whole way through the video when you edit stuff out. Oh, it is pain. It is way more pain than podcast editing. And you have to have a certain internet speed. You have to have a certain ability to not be behind a firewall, and I'm not just talking about China, in order to see YouTube videos. So there's a lot of restrictions with videos that don't exist necessarily in podcasts. But truth be told, I've always been a radio person. I was glued to my radio as a kid, pre-internet. Yes, I am that old. And I've been listening to podcasts since the beginning. It's actually really funny that it took me about 12 or 13 years into podcasting to decide to make my own. Never even dawned on me. So thank you, China. Being here, having the mental space to think about something other than basic survival has really, really helped me to develop things I didn't even realize that would absolutely change my life. And that's what this content creation stuff has done. It's really helped bring out a lot of stuff. Yes, I am getting teary. It's really helped bring out a lot of things that I was trying to do in spaces where it wasn't welcome. And the fact that whether you have been watching for the past few months while I've been doing nothing on this channel or not, the fact that you haven't left, the fact that new people have joined, this warms my heart and makes me think that maybe there's something in what I'm saying that's resonating with you. So I'll still be saying these things on the Geopats podcast, but I'll be saying them in conversation form with other people. Because if there's anything I've learned this past week since November started, and I tried to do a couple of solo episodes as opposed to a conversation or questioning someone else, it's that the listeners were right. When I was doing solo episodes and very few people were listening, and then I brought other people on, and my downloads vastly increased and my engagement with the audience vastly increased, they were right. It is more interesting with other people. Part of me is a little ego hurt that I'm not enough, and then part of me realizes I have more fun when there's other people in the conversation too. So yeah. So I'm not doing the same thing on the GPS podcast language show as I'm doing on this channel. I'm not doing as much as my language learning process as I am talking to other people about theirs, but I do share my stories as they go, and what I'm hoping is that by continuing to have those conversations as I continue to progress, however slowly, in my Mandarin Chinese language learning and usage, that there will be tidbits of my process kind of laced into or peppered into the interviews themselves, the conversations themselves. They do feel like a lot more like conversations than interviews to me. So there's that. So I'm not going to explicitly sit down and say, this is the struggle I was having today. Don't really know. I feel like that moment's over. I feel like it's much more interesting to talk about it with someone else, and as it just comes up randomly. So that is that. Again, I'm not taking this channel down. I don't know if YouTube will ever take it down. I don't know if it will. I don't know what happens in YouTube land when you stop producing content. But, yeah. But I'm still doing stuff with Mandarin Chinese on the Geopats podcast. I have a variety of different shows on that podcast. One of them is what I'm starting to call the language show, because I'm moving to Germany and for however long, and I'm going to start off with a language course. So changing scripts doesn't really fit anymore because, it's the same script except for a couple of 1 or 2 characters. So I'm just going to call it Language Show and branch out just from Mandarin Chinese to whatever comes up. I will always have a special place in my heart for talking about learning languages as difficult as Mandarin. And for all of you that I haven't been able to interview about your language learning journey, or if you grew up with Mandarin Chinese, I'm not stopping those interviews, so please do contact me. There's plenty of time to get you into the Geopats Podcast Language Show in 2020, and I'd love to have you there. So, content will not be coming on this channel, but we still have language stuff happening on Geopats, and there's still visuals of Mandarin Chinese as long as I can see them in my life on Instagram and Twitter, and somewhat LinkedIn, but generally not. It's been amazing. You have been amazing. I have met some very interesting, thinky, language curious people that I hope to stay in touch with. But I feel like this door needs to close so that another one can open. Now I'm far too busy to actually have other projects come up, but let's see what happens. Far be it for me to try to control the creative juices. That is a losing battle. Oh gosh, that's okay. While we're talking about creativity, when I consolidated many of my independent podcasts into the Geopat podcast and just have different shows, a little bit before that, I actually started a creative therapy-ish kind of show with a what has turned into a very dear friend of mine, American writer living in Germany, ironically. And it's called Creatively Complicated, and we hash out our creative obstacles, successes, those kinds of things. It's not so much of a process podcast, it's topic based, and we dig into stuff and try to figure it out and try to have a release moment by the end of the podcast episode. And we're about, I think, 15, 16 episodes in now, so Creatively Complicated. Everything you need to know about me is now on one website, too. I've gotten organized over the years, y'all. It is the shittiest looking website ever, but it does exist. It's stephfuccio.com. That has all the podcasts, all my guest appearances on other projects, my publications. It's all in one place, stephfuccio.com, STEPHFUCCIO. I just realized the name of this channel is changing scripts. Normally, on social media, my name is somewhere, but that's not true here. Anyway, it's stephfuccio.com. Feel free to dig in there and look at all of the stuff I've gotten into in the past 3 years. Oh, gosh. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching when you have. If you find that this content is useful to people around you when they're starting to learn Mandarin Chinese, please do share it with them. I hope people continue to come back here. I think there's a decent amount of evergreen material, and hopefully my goofiness and my vulnerability can help other people to push through their fear of not being able to learn Mandarin Chinese. And who knows, maybe when I finally do reach a level of fluency that I'm proud of, maybe I can let you know if it's in a podcast episode and it or something, or an Instagram moment, no, it's not called moment, story or something like that. Maybe I'll post it over here. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm probably going to forget about this channel a bit. I don't want to. God, it's like an ex-boyfriend that you promise to stay in touch with and you forget their name. That's a weird analogy. It wouldn't be my video if it didn't have a weird analogy. I'm losing my voice, I'm starting to get teary again, and I've run out of things to say. Basically, I want you to stay in touch. Honestly, I want you to come over to the language show on Geopats podcast, but I understand how different YouTube channels and podcasts are, and that might not be your thing. However, wherever, stay in touch. And let me know what you're doing, what you're up to language-wise. Or otherwise. I have other shows on Geopats, we're talking about books and the internet. And now we have a coffee show and a podcasting show and so much more. I think we're probably going to start a teaching language show. So, there's a lot of growth over there. and it may seem spastic, but it's all about communication, and it's really fun. So, yeah, thank you. 谢谢。再见。